Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
It's Tuesday in the studio, and unfortunately there are no tacos here, so no Taco Tuesday. But we still have a great show planned for you on Running Point today. Ken Forsyth, the head coach of the Brookfield girls basketball team, will be joining us at 12:30 today. Walt DeShields, the head coach of West Branch girls basketball, will be joining us at 1:15, and we also have a bunch of more talk about the playoff picture and who's going to be where. And we have a Big Dogs Player of the Year voting to kind of do one last time before the basketball season starts. One last Price is Right challenge before we go into basketball big dogs in the winter. Ty, how are you doing today, man?
Doing good as we look forward to basketball season, as well as wrapping up volleyball and football, soccer season. A lot of things getting wrapped up in the next coming weeks, and we look forward to winter sports after that.
So before we do anything, let's do what we always do on Tuesdays and have our Barrett Brothers Big Dog of the Valley Price is Right challenge. As you know, we know that this week's voting is going to be ungodly good because these are the best of the best. Everyone that won, everyone that got the most votes throughout the 7 weeks is on this list. So let's just see where our voting is. 49,137 for volleyball and 34,968 for football. Let's do the math real quick. 49,137 plus 34,968, 84,105. Ty, you won last week, so you get first pick. So, where do you think this is going to get between now and the end of the show?
They impressed me last week.
They
Give me
did.
10,000 exact. 10,000 on the money.
So just to be clear, you think it's going to get to 94,105.
Here's what I'll do. Wait, what is the total right now? What's it?
The total is 84,105. So 84,105 votes.
Oh, it's at 84. I thought you said 8,000.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. 84. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. All right. We're playing with big money then. All right. Hold on now. Hold on. I didn't know the stakes were raised that high now. Hold on.
Raise the
Price is right, man. My price was way wrong. Hold on real quick. If we're going to be playing with serious chips, 84,000?
84,000.
Oh, my God.
As of 5 minutes ago.
And it's been up since Sunday.
It's been up since yesterday.
Since yesterday.
It went up yesterday. Voting is on Sunday.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. 84,000 votes in a span of a day. You guys are ridiculous. They might get 1 million. They might touch a freaking million. That's unbelievable. Give me 100,000. You got it. Hey, the only way you get there is a step at a time. If you could get 84,000 in a day, let's get 16,000 in the next 2 hours. I'll go high and I'll dream big. Let's go to 100,000. We're reaching the moon.
I know we have the rule of at least the 300, the 300 margin, but since
It should be 1,000, I feel like, if it's that.
here's the thing though, it's Price is Right rules. So you can't go over even if it's by a vote.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with 100,001. And just say if they get over 100,000, I win. If they don't, you win. It's that simple.
So okay, we'll go. That seems fair.
That makes
And
it simple too, because now, there's no like, if there's no way one of us doesn't win. If it's under 100,000, you win, and if it's not, I win.
Yeah, there's no like in between where it's necessarily a bust or we both go over or anything like that. Well, could. We'll see.
Right. No, I'm stupid. If I say 100,001, that means it has to be that. Or
You have to get exactly on. That's why I was like,
no, wait, hold on.
Because you can't go over
without going over. So I'm gonna say 102,000.
Okay, that's fair. Give yourself a little bit of room in between.
I forgot Price is Right rules.
That's why I said it should be 1,000. You need to give yourself a little bit of leeway with this many voters, because.
But see, here's the thing: if they don't get 100,000, we're both in hot water.
Oh, I know, we're both in hot water, but boy, oh boy,
if that happens, we'll just do it again. We'll both guess for tomorrow. What it's going to be at tomorrow morning.
I think they can get to that 100,000 though. That's unbelievable that they've showed up this big. And I mean, hey, it's Big Dog of the Year, so I know stakes are raised and everything. And
Forks High raised the stakes.
Yeah.
So we've already kind of, shouted out all these athletes. If they've been nominated, they've won. We've talked to all of them except for the ones that we're going to talk to this week that won last week. That's Lauren Shingledecker and Anthony Demma. So I just want to go over the nominees once again for people that might not, it's been 7 weeks. So for people that need some recollection, Sammy Kelly from Lowville was the first week winner of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. So she is on this list. Grace Hill from Beaver Local, Presley Stokes from Wellsville. Excuse me. Julia Rapp from Columbiana, Alyssa Leskovac from Austintown Fitch, Brooke Talbot also from Beaver Local. So Beavers, you got a choice to make. You voted very well for both those girls. You got to pick one now.
So does West Branch. West Branch has to pick between Steve and Mark.
Right, in the football.
There's so many choices.
Lauren Shingledecker, who had a very impressive last week of voting, is also on the list. She won last week. We will try to get her on the show this week to talk to her. On the football side, the winner of week 1 was DJ Williams from Austintown Fitch. And then it goes on. These are in order of when they won. Blaze X-Line of Salem. Stephen Marna from West Branch. Drew DeShields from West Branch. They went back-to-back. Beaver Local has Austin Klein. Beaver Local everywhere. South Range, Shane Lindstrom, and Garrettsville, Garfield, Anthony Demma. Those are your players of the year nominees in volleyball and football. What a year it has been for Big Dogs.
We know the powerhouses, too, are going to be Beaver Local. Typically comes in strong voting, but with 3 on the docket, 2 in volleyball and 1 in football, you might see those votes disperse a little bit, as well as Fitch is usually a pretty big powerhouse in the voting, but you got a South Range candidate in there with Shane Lindstrom, and we know how big South Range supports. Also in football, 2 West Branch candidates versus a Salem candidate. Who's going to win on that one, too, as they're going to have to try to outvote each other. Voting's going to be absolutely insane. You go over to volleyball, too. Some different looks, and Sammy Kelly, I think, for Lowville being a really big surprise look that Lowville was able to get a big dog on there this year, and great job by the Lowville support, too. I love seeing those D7 schools win big dogs because it just goes to show that it doesn't matter what division your school is, your support can still get them a big dog honor.
Honestly, I'm gonna say I went to a lot of games this year. I got to see a lot of great atmospheres. Outside of the ones that you expect to have great atmospheres, like the Canfield Fitch, which was also senior night. Some of the senior nights I got to go to, those always get a big crowd. As far as student involvement and student section involvement, Lowville's been the most impressive volleyball crowd that I've seen this year.
And
they rocked their volleyball team with, themes, and it was really great to see.
And I'm not surprised at all. As well as those other volleyball programs, we see Brookfield on there, we see Wellsville on there. A lot of great talent all over the place. And then over in football too, you have Anthony Dema too in Garfield, and they're only undefeated right now too. And he's only having a fantastic season.
Well, he's already broken the single season.
Yeah, exactly.
Garfield, that has been historically rushing the ball. By the way.
So I mean, lot of great candidates.
My finger lined up. I can't. Oh yeah, there it is. There's the Garfield hair shirt on Mr. Michael, rocking the G-Men.
And exciting. Get out there and vote for Big Dog of the Year, and support your school, support your community. I have no idea who's coming out on top of this one.
Volleyball, it's like I don't even. There are 2 Beaver local girls. It's like, who do you pick from that? And then obviously, you should see the engagement that Brookfield has gotten from our announcement that Lauren Schingledecker won. They are rowdy. They are excited that she won, and now they just get to go right back in.
Well, that's the thing. That's a little bit of an advantage for Brookfield, right? Is that last week they already know, hey, it's this week, and they just have to go in and just do it one more time, and they can get her Big Dog of the Year nod.
One more time, guys, and everyone, just one more time. That's what makes this voting so impressive, because this is literally all the communities that showed up and voted so well are on this list.
Absolutely.
That's why the numbers are huge. I'm just curious to see how far it's gone up since we've just been talking. So we were at 84,105. Remember that. And now we are at, just since we've been talking, we were at 84,313. So it's steadily coming up.
I mean, they've gotten 200 votes in just a few minutes. So right. They're doing a great job.
They are absolutely doing a great job, Ty. So once again, ysnlive.com/bigdogs is where you go. Voting is unlimited, and it will end on Sunday at midnight, unlike most weeks, Saturday at midnight. This one,
whole extra day.
This one just moved up a day. We released it on Monday. It's up till Sunday. So Sunday at midnight, and then probably Monday around 5 o'clock, right after Running Point, you'll be able to know who won. You know what? We might just announce it on Running Point on Monday. We might just do that. We might make it a part of our Monday schedule next week to just announce the winners of Big Dogs of the Valley.
That'd be a big way to open up Running Point, and might have to, get a fancy special edition of Running Point up for next week if we're going to be announcing Big Dog of the Year candidate from Baird Brothers. As we see, all the candidates that are on there and all the communities that are going to be supporting them, I think it would be a pretty big idea and a big show to do so.
We gotta vote for Anthony Dema in the comments section. Brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi.
My kid plays for LeBray, and I'm voting.
I'm a LeBray fan too.
And you know what? That's nothing but pure respect too.
Real recognize real, right?
Absolutely, and that's nothing but respect. And hey, when Garfield has that one win over LeBray, and even though I do think, especially the way LeBray played Liberty, that next time around playing a team similar to a Garfield style of offense, I think Liberty would or LeBray, would come up with a different type of game plan and look a lot better. But hey, when Garfield was the one team that took you to that loss column, I think you got to show a little bit of respect. And Dema's been fantastic all year, and we might get that matchup again in the playoffs.
Well, no, we won't, because Garfield's 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting Garfield's 5. They're in the same MVAC, but I keep forgetting that they're up one. We could see Garfield Crestview though.
Garfield Crestview. We could see LeBray Brookfield again.
That's the one I was thinking of. Brookfield
would be like chomping at the bit for that, because I believe they don't feel like they played their best game. Obviously, they got shut out against LeBray. Not something we see Brookfield do too much. So. We could see that rematch, which was a epic rematch last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my bearings on where Garfield is, just joining the MVAC this past year, and just trying to get my bearings on where they play. I keep forgetting that they're a D5 school, and it feels like they should be D6, because of the way that just the way their makeup is and everything. And the way that I don't remember if I've seen that many kids on Garfield either, as far as like participation was. But hey, credit to what Garfield and the G-Men are doing, and Anthony Dem, a fantastic player this year. When you break the school record, you've done something well.
And we're going to be talking to him tonight, a recorded interview that will air tomorrow on tomorrow's show. So if you want to hear from Mr. Dema, tune in tomorrow for a pre-recorded interview with last week's Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner in football.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to want to miss that, as our very own Running Point's Anthony Hart. We're going to be talking with him, and maybe you should be donning the shirt Mike's wearing right now when you talk to us. No, you're kind of wearing the colors actually right now.
The colors, you know.
You still got the colors. Wrong state on the front of your shirt, but that's all right.
The problem is that's like an extra large.
Yeah, just an oversized shirt on you. You come into the interview and it's just baggy on you. You're just like, hi. I'm from YSN. It's just unprofessionally large shirt that's just baggy on you, but you wanted to support. Oh man, we have too much fun on the show. I think
the G is sagging so much it comes off the screen.
You don't even see the G anymore. It's just a big black shirt at this point. It's just a large shirt on you. Oh my goodness. But get out there and vote. Hey, you guys got me that win last week because you were able to show up, and that was impressive though. And being at Mill Creek too, it just made the day that much better to not even just get the win, but just to actually see that many people show up and support on a Tuesday too was absolutely incredible. And that's what I love to see is community supporting when it's not the weekend. That was something huge, I think.
By the way, in our little side competition between football and volleyball, football won last week. So
yeah,
it's 4-3. So to draw even, to make it a dead draw for the fall season, football has to win this week. But right now they're down by about 14,000.
Let's do this. We need to raise the stakes because we can't just have it end on a draw.
Torx high?
2 points. It's Big Dog of the Year. Whoever wins gets 2 points and the win for it this year. It's a 2 point for the Big Dog of the Year. So football, if you pull off this victory, that's 2 points. You're down a little bit, though. Going to need a comeback. Volleyball's been showing up strong, and I don't know, 2 Beaver local girls on volleyball's side. That's going to be a lot of voting, too.
That just means volleyball can win by 3 instead of win by 1.
They can, but I think we need to raise the stakes to 2. I think we need to raise it. We need to make sure that both teams have a chance to come away victorious. Hey, football's been fighting all the way to this point. We can't just the best chance they have can't be a tie. It needs to be a chance to win for both sides.
We're in playoff time for soccer, so nothing ends in a tie anymore.
Yeah. There's no ties. There's no ties anymore except for this tie. This is the only tie you have to worry about. There's no other ties.
That tie.
Yeah.
It's
backwards. Yeah, I know. You don't point. You point the other way. You want.
Oh wow. So that tie, right? On my left.
That's the only tie you need to worry about here on Running Point and on YSN right now, because we're going to have a winner between volleyball and football out of Bear Brothers this week.
Hey, speaking of soccer, by the way, we have district championships set in the girls' side. Semifinals go on the boys' side tonight. South Range gets a big 3-0 win over undefeated Pymatuning Valley to advance to the district championship. Crestview holds off Ursuline in overtime, 1-0. So they will meet the Raiders. And isn't it just so that it's Crestview South Range? I mean, go figure. This thing has been a rivalry, especially in girls' sports over the last 5 years in the tournament. We saw 1 year where volleyball, basketball, and softball all went down to Crestview South Range in the district championship. The super districts changed out a little bit because teams were able to avoid each other, but not in soccer. We see Crestview South Range meeting once again for a district championship. That game will be on Thursday in Niles, by the way. Let's see. You have Canfield. They had a heartbreaking loss against West Geauga, 1-0. They've fallen into an incredible season for the Cardinals. We also saw Poland get the 6-4. I know that's kind of weird. 6-4 in shootouts. The game ended in overtime, 2-2 tied. So they went to shootouts and Poland wins that one 6-4 to advance over Mogador Field. So Poland is going to the district championship. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, and a big congratulations to that Poland program, working their way all the way to that with a big win in a shootout, and now get to represent the YSN family and the area in the district championships. And we wish the Lady Bulldogs the best of luck on their run.
Also, want to give a great shout out to friends of the program. They've been on a couple of times. We've talked to their captain, Springfield Girls Soccer. Wasn't their night last night. They got beat by Rootstown 7-1, but doesn't take away from a great season that the Tigers had. And we appreciate Coach Kosick coming on as much as he did and talking to us as much as he did. We appreciate their captains coming on, and we know they were rocking. So unfortunately, they lost to Rootstown and their season is over. But an incredible season nonetheless that they were able to power through some adversity. We talked to Coach Kosick last week. You know, they had some key players go down during the season, and they fought through it.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think this is the last we'll be talking about the Springfield soccer program, and I think you'll be seeing us talk about them in future seasons. I think it's just the beginning in which Coach Kosick is able to do over there in Springfield. And I'm sure with everything that they're bringing back, and I mean, you look at what they have in leadership there and the younger players that stepped up this year, this was a year that maybe didn't go quite as planned as Coach Kosick said, but it's still definitely a year you could build upon, and there's a lot of positives to take away.
Programs would love to say this year didn't go quite as planned, but we won the MVAC for the second season.
Exactly. So it's a team that's going to grow. It's a team that's going to get better, and it's a team that within, I think, a couple years, you'll be talking about back on top of the food chain.
It's like saying Alabama's on a down year because they have one loss. Well, yeah, okay, but wouldn't you love to say that your down year is a one-loss year?
Yeah, there's a lot of talent over there in Springfield athletics, and no different in the soccer team.
No, I mean they are ready to go, and they are, going to be something to be reckoned with next year for sure. On the boys' side of things, district semifinals start tonight, and Poland boys, just like the girls, playing for a district for a trip to the district championship game.
Yeah, and you know what? Poland can come away with a huge, huge week in soccer if they can pull off this victory to send both the boys and the girls to districts. And we've been talking about this Poland team all year, both of them, as far as really good soccer programs. And that's kind of showing true. And I have a feeling, too, I've only been through Poland a couple of times, but I feel like there's two things I've always seen in Poland. I've seen a surplus of baseball/softball fields in Poland, and I don't know why I've seen a lot of them in Poland in my trip through there, and I think I've seen a lot of soccer fields in Poland too. And I don't know if they're community soccer fields. I don't know the community of Poland that well. I know you personally have been to Poland a lot more than I have.
And it seems like their softball and baseball programs are pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of baseball, softball fields there and a lot of soccer fields in the Poland area. So I'm not too surprised that those are the sports that they excel at. It seems like it's a very community-driven sport.
Other district semis on the docket tonight for our YSN teams. Howland, they will play Streetsboro in the district semifinal. That game, all these games are at 6, by the way. Louisville, they've already upset 2 teams as a 14 seed. They run on and they will go play Talmadge, and they'll try to force another upset. Louisville on the roll in the boys soccer bracket. Poland plays Chagrin Falls, and that is going to be a big game for the Bulldogs as they try to advance. Canfield playing Hawken, not the town from Stranger Things, but still a formidable soccer team. Crestview will play LeBray, a interconference matchup in the MVAC, and also in the district semifinal. Mooney facing Champion in the district semifinal. Ursuline will play Maplewood, and then South Range boys will play Badger. So that all goes down tonight. 8 games total, and they all start at 6. Stay tuned to ysnlive.com and our social media platforms for final scores and recaps of those games.
Yeah, as no place does it quite like we do it here as far as getting you those updates and those graphics, beautiful graphics that we put together now for you to try to give you a little bit more convenience of if you just want the score, we got you taken care of with the score. You want a story attached, we got you taken care of with that. And when we're able to, we got the live games for you as well. So we are your home to high school sports, and hence the name, Your Sports Network.
Those are the soccer games happening tonight, but we also want to give a shout out to a couple of volleyball teams in action, most of them in action tomorrow. But Austintown Fitch, big matchup with Aurora tonight in Solon for the district semifinal. That is 4-seed Austintown Fitch versus 6-seed Aurora. We saw how good Aurora looked against Canfield. Fitch has a tall task. That offense, from what I saw, very balanced. They had 4 girls have 8 or more kills for the Lady Green Men, and it's going to be a tough task for Fitch to get by them.
It is going to be a tough task, and you know what? I'll be in attendance in this one tonight, writing the story for ysnlive.com, and I'm excited to see what Coach Bartlett and the Falcons bring offensively in this one. And able to get that win last time in straight sets versus North, but Coach Bartlett will tell you too, especially in that second set.
That North pushed them.
Yeah, they didn't look quite as well as they thought they could. And you could go one of two ways from that. You could either get down on yourself and say, maybe we're not ready, or you can learn from it and say, okay, they found a chink in our armor that no one else is going to find now, and we're only going to get stronger from this. And I think this is a Lady Falcon team that is truly something special. Multiple record breakers on the team, and Jocelyn Jordan and Alyssa Leskovac, as well as some very, very good senior talent surrounding them, and Erin Burke and Ella Solly. This is a team that I feel like can beat this Aurora team. And I mean, they have a higher seed for a reason. It's going to be a great volleyball matchup. And I'm definitely going to be excited to be there.
If the Falcons want to move on, they have to lock up that serve receive. That's what kind of did them in that second set. Couldn't really get in the system off the serve. They were struggling. Erin Burke only had one option most of the time. And that makes you predictable on defense. So you got to be able to get serve receive intact, and that's what they'll try to do. Beaver Local Volleyball will also be in action tonight as they play St. Clairsville in Harrison Central. I believe we're going to have the broadcast of that. DJ Egley is going to be down there to broadcast that district semifinal game for the Beavers.
And that'll be something really fun to watch, as well as Beaver Local able to make it into the district semis. And something very, very impressive.
And we know how proud Beaver Local is of their volleyball program. There are 2 members on that Barrett Brothers Big Dog of the Valley Player of the Year list for a reason. They are very proud of their volleyball program, and they should be. And tonight they have a big battle with St. Clairsville. And
Coach Lowe will have her squad ready as we expect. And great call for DJ Egley tonight. I think it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a real good one. Then tomorrow, that's where most of the district semifinals kind of get in action. D2, D3, Crestvew's in action. Gerard is in action. Lakeview round 3 in the district semifinals. That'll be really fun. That'll be in Jefferson. You have Brookfield taking on Western Reserve. A lot of fun times tomorrow night for volleyball action in the area.
And I tell you what, I hate to say it, but I'm going to. There's one team I don't want to be right now. It's Gerard going up against Lakeview a third time.
Both matches went 4 sets. So Lakeview has proven that they can take a set. They can compete with Gerard. We'll just have to see if they can.
Hard to beat a team that many times in the season.
And remember, before this year, it was Lakeview's conference and everybody was living in it. So Lakeview kind of wants to take that step forward and make a counterpunch, because both these teams bring back virtually everybody next season. So it's going to be knockdown, drag-out volleyball in the inning between these two, not just this year, but next year as well.
Eraser on a whiteboard, Lakeview. That's exactly what you can do right now. The whole thing and everything that's happened this season, regular season, eraser on a whiteboard if you win.
Imagine this. Hey, Gerard, you got the NEA championship. Well, we're going to the district championship.
Exactly. So, and all the pain and all the talk that you had to hear about those 2 wins Gerard put over on you guys in the regular season, eraser on a whiteboard, it could be all gone in one night.
So, you enjoy that NEA championship. We're going to districts.
And Gerard's going to be bringing it, because Gerard just last year was little brother to Lakeview. And Lakeview was the one that was dominating, and Lakeview was the one that Gerard couldn't get over. Gerard finally grabbed a hold of the flag and said, no, this is our conference now. And now you got to meet them a third time, and it's a perfect trilogy of matchups. To finally rid yourself of Lakeview.
perfect segue because we have a girls basketball coach in the green room that is trying to kind of grab that flag of their conference as well. A nice up-and-coming Brookfield team went to the district championship last year and gave South Range a big fight. We have Ken Forsyth, the head coach of Brookfield girls basketball, joining us, and we'll pop him in right now. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. We are so looking forward to basketball season, and you're one of the guys that we had to get on.
Coach, my first question for you, and looking at this season, Anthony already talked about it, where you guys ended last year, I think, a very successful season, a lot of positives to take away from that. Looking back at last year, what are the positives that you took away from that team as a coach, and what are some things you think that this team can improve on going into this year to get further than what they did last year?
The positives I took about it is they're great girls. They all, great grades, and, it's a great group of girls to be around. And they came together, quicker than we thought last year, which was a huge thing for them. The things we could build on is, I feel like maybe 2 or 3 more of them could look to score more. And I don't think we're there yet defensively. And I think that's, the 2 things we're going to focus on this heading into the season in the next couple of weeks.
Last year you played Crestview twice in the regular season. You couldn't get over that hump, but then you got them in the tournament. And do you think that's going to give this team that's returning almost everybody? You have a lot of returning starters. Kind of confidence this year inside the conference that you kind of got that monkey off your back in the tournament last year?
Yeah, I mean, that Crestview game was huge for him because, again, since I took over, I was 0-6 against Coach Blatch and them guys. And, they have a great program. And like I said, our girls getting over there and get that monkey off their back is huge for them because that can go a long way. And it was kind of, we battled South Range, which was good. It was a very good team too. And it's a good building for a bunch of sophomores and juniors as they were last year.
Let's hear it from the coach himself, and let's meet the team of the Brookfield Lady Warriors this year. Name some of the big-name players you expect to have huge roles this season, as well as maybe some dark horse younger players that you think maybe if they put in some work, they could see some significant playing time this year.
I mean, when the first name always rings a bell is Sophie Hook, and she's one of the better players in the area. But it's the girls around her too that make her as good as she is. Audrey Reardon, I'm expecting having a big year out of her. She was first team all conference last year, had a great season, averaged, I think, 13, 14 points a game. Katie Gibson and Katie Logan are 2 others that I'm expecting to have big years. They were both second team all conference girls last year. And them are the 2 I'm looking to see score more this year. I also, with Anna Riker, who, coaches and teams only saw her, 3 or 4 games in the playoffs last year. And, she's a big part of our puzzle this year, and her coming back from that knee injury was huge for our playoff boost last year. And then, you go on, and I'm expecting like Kaylee Wellman, I'm expecting her to have a big season this year as a sophomore. She struggled a little bit as a freshman, but she had a great summer and improved a lot. Abby the Joy is another one I'm expecting to have a big season. She played a nice role for us last year. She was honorable mention all conference, and and I'm expecting her to even fill up the stat sheets a little bit more this year. We got Reese Nail, who was spotty last year with playing, but I feel like she's another one that can plug in there and she can rebound with the best of them and play some defense.
Coach, you brought up Sophie Hook, and I just want to take a minute with her real quick because she came on the scene last year and just dazzled everybody and really impressed a lot of people, including myself. What kind of things do you want to see from her this year to improve on and even get better and take that next step as a leader on the court and probably off the court as well?
I think, she's always been a leader as, she goes like a leader by example. I would like to see her be more vocal. And that's kind of what I've been talking to her about is, talking to your teammates, explaining things to them. She sees the game differently than most. She's very, very high key basketball player. And I think it's a vocal thing with her because they all look up to her. I shouldn't say look up to her, but they all understand her and things like that. But I think it's more of a vocal thing with her right now to get her over that next hump.
And there's no doubt leaders are the people you want to put in that position that represent your program well. So when you think about the Brookfield Lady Warriors, what do you want it to mean to these girls to be a Lady Warrior?
I wanted them first and foremost to enjoy themselves. That's what it comes down to. I mean, they're only in high school once. They got to enjoy the atmosphere. They got to enjoy what they do, and they got to be able to do everything. I mean, we're a small school. I mean, right now, we had a practice last night. We only had 6 girls there because the volleyball team's still playing. And I encourage them girls to go watch them play tomorrow night because, again, it's a small community and we get behind our sports in Brookfield. And that's the one thing that's, love these girls need to realize about being a Brookfield Warrior, even the boys in the school. We got to have each other's back. And that's what, I've been trying to tell them. It's, 10 years from now, you ain't going to worry about the wins and losses. You're going to look to say, hey, did I have the memories and did I have fun doing that? So that's what I'm kind of just preaching to them right now.
Let's talk about your schedule that you've put together. Obviously everyone knows the MVAC is going to be tough like it is every year. Teams like Liberty, Crestview, Garfield's coming into the fray. But what about some non-conference opponents as well that you kind of have put in there that you're kind of excited to play and are going to sharpen your team's teeth before the tournaments?
We open up with Lakeview, which is going to be challenging just because the Pavlansky girl is very well. She might be one of the best players in Trumbull County, and she'll give us a challenge, which I was looking for. We got Mineral Ridge, who's, I heard they're young, but again, you can't overlook any teams because we were young at once too when we competed. So, we got Springfield, who's really good with the Mullins girl. Then we have our Christmas tournament with Cleveland Shaw, I think, is coming down. And then, we got the winner of Columbiana and Berkshire, who are very well coached, 2 good coach teams. And Berkshire, is going to surprise some teams this year. We played them last year, and we struggled with them for a half when they were young. So I'm expecting big things out of them, and that kind of push us if we end up seeing them in the championship of the Christmas tournament. And then you guys hit on this yesterday, and we got South Range the last game of the year, which was, I love playing Coach Fischel. He always has his teams ready, and again, it's like I always tell our girls, we're playing the best dressed coach in the state of Ohio. So we got to make sure we look good to outdo his outfits.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have to look a lot better on that basketball court, and I think you guys will. I think you guys have a lot of talent, and like you said. But talking about that talent too, and obviously there's a lot of great coaching that goes into the X's and O's of the game of basketball. But there's a lot that goes into developing these girls as members of society after this. So what are some things the Brookfield basketball program is doing to teach these girls outside of the sport of basketball to help them
guys there?
themselves in life?
Yeah, we still got you, Coach.
Hello?
Can you hear us? He bleeped out for a minute there. I see him.
Hello?
Yeah, some glitch gremlin. You hearing us, Coach? As we'll have to wait for Coach to get back on here. Glitch gremlins like to come in every once in a while and mess up our fun too. I don't know. Maybe the glitch gremlins are wearing burgundy and gold or something. They didn't like the comment about Coach Mitchell, and they're trying to attack him. We'll get you back on, Coach. We're not going to let the gremlins try to take you out. I think we got him back in now. You hearing us, Coach?
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem. My question, I'll repeat this for you. X's and O's go a long way on the basketball court in developing these girls' skills. What is the Brookfield basketball community doing to help shape these girls for society then? And in other words, what are you guys teaching these girls outside of the sport of basketball?
It's about getting along with everybody and about respecting everybody and and doing things for the younger generation of Brookfield and things like that. I'm going to get these girls more involved with our youth programs this year, so they could kind of go down because again, it's little eyes are always on them. They walk down the hallways or we're in one school building now, so them kindergarten, first, second, third graders might be walking down the hallway and they see an Audrey Reardon or a Sophie Hook and and they point to them, but then our girls just don't take that into consideration. So I think it's more about getting them out there, making sure that letting the community know how great of girls they really are, and that's that goes a long way. So
You brought up the youth program and the things that Brookfield can do to develop the kids before they might get into seventh grade. What kind of things does your program do to develop the youth and get the youth involved in the program?
We have a group. It's called the Carl Hoffman League, and it's been run for 40 years, 50 years, and it's a great thing. There's parents and people involved that are volunteering, and it's for our third through sixth graders. And they practice 2 or 3 days a week, and then they're also in a league up in Badger that play on Saturdays. So we're very fortunate enough to get these guys and girls playing some basketball at a very young age.
Coach, my final question for you. We already got a chance to meet the team. We got to talk a little bit about this season. Final question for you. Let's meet the staff that's going to be helping you out. So some of your assistant coaches and some of those people that are going to be big helps to you along the way for this season.
The guy that, Chris Fondrick has been with me since I took over this program, and he's the glue of the whole thing. He's been around. He was a head boys coach at Brookfield for years. He was on the Warren Harding staffs that went down to the state semis and regional finals there for a couple of years with Steve Arnold when he was the basketball coach at Harding. And he was also my junior high and JV coach when I was in high school. So having his knowledge around is very, it goes a long way, especially with, I've been coaching basketball, but I haven't been a basketball head coach. So he helps me out tremendously. I have a volunteer assistant, Adam Lewis, he was a paid assistant last year, but he went into a volunteer role this year. He's very knowledgeable, had a great career at Lakeview, and having them two guys around is going to be huge. I just hired Matt Smoot, who I coached when he was in junior high and high school as a boys side. He's going to be the JV coach, and he was one of our junior high coaches last year. And then my junior high coach, I got one coach this year. Her name's Andrea Grimm. She does well with the girls. She coaches volleyball. She has a lot of experience with the girls. So it's good to have that with them, that they're used to that, knowing what they're getting with her.
Coach, before we let you go, since this is a preview of Brookfield girls basketball and we are so close to the season, I want to give you the chance to kind of give a selling point to the Brookfield community to get out and get to some girls basketball games this year. Now that we, knock on wood, will have full capacity crowds in these gyms.
It's like I tell my girls, I wish our girls could have went through that last year with the community and the gyms full, because, one thing I always tell the girls, when you win, Brookfield shows up. You're losing. When them stands are empty, they know they don't want no part of you. But you start winning, them stands will be packed every night. And this is a typical Brookfield team. They're going to work hard. They got that work ethic down flat, but again, it's going to be something they're proud of. And I hope them stands are filled every night with their faithful community members.
Get out there and support the Lady Warriors, Brookfield faithful. They're going to need you this season, and they're going to be putting on a show for you.
You know what? He said it. The volleyball team's still in action tomorrow night as well, so make sure you get out and support some.
Yeah, I'd like to wish them guys good luck, too, because that's a great team and a great coaching staff. So hopefully they win tomorrow night and keep it rolling, because we could back up basketball season a little bit. Right. I have no problem doing that.
And we'll wish you the best of luck as well, Coach, in your season. And we hope to be talking to you again real soon, and probably some of your players as well.
All right. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ken Forsyth, the head coach of the Brookfield girls basketball team. Man, it's going to be so fun to watch them this year. Like, last year, they kind of came on the scene. They were one of those teams that I don't think they're kind of under the radar. Everyone kind of expected that league to go down to Crestview and Liberty, and all of a sudden here comes this Brookfield team with this girl named Sophie Hook that just, like, when I watched her play, and I saw one of their first games of the year. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first against United, and it was in Brookfield. And I was just like, this girl's a superstar. Like, she can handle really well. She can shoot really well. She's got great basketball IQ. And this team's going to go places. And there they are in the district championship. And they gave South Range a run. That's the South Range team that was about this close to going to state. They gave them a run, and they're coming back. And I said this with Fitchell yesterday. I'll say it again today that we talked to Ken. I love that these two teams are going to play each other last game of the season when they could very well meet in the tournament as well.
Yeah, and you want to talk about it too. You got it. It's a great matchup, and it might be for everything. And We know what South Range that what they lost, and talking with Coach Fischel though, it's one of the best coach programs in the area, and so I think this Brookfield program has some things to say. They got the hook. It's time for line and sinker to catch a big one.
I like that, by the way. But, it's going to be – South Range is going to be interesting. We didn't get a lot of time to talk about them outside of the interview. They lost a lot. Like, I get it. They lost to Zealand Party, one of the best players in the state. She was on the All-State team. She was definitely on All-YSN. But now I think South Range has a chance to kind of be more role player and more everyone just go and do their job and execute as one. Maybe not one person score 20 points a game, but 3 or 4 people add 8, 10 points a game. That's going to be plenty. And that can be just as effective. And I think that's something that Poland had done really well for a while. They had Jackie Grisdale, of course, but their role players kind of executed the roles they were supposed to be in. That's why they did so well. Now South Range has a chance for those role players to kind of step up and show what they've been made of. I'm like the Mallory Vidmans of the world, the Emma Cunninghams, the players that just kind of went under the radar last year can really step in the limelight this year.
Well, and like Coach Forsyth said from Brookfield too, and you look at that, you got to remember what got you to the dance in the first place. And yes, Hook had a fantastic season, and Sophie Hook, I think, going to be one of the better players in the area this year. But it was team basketball that got Brookfield that win against Crestview, and you need to make sure everyone's involved. Hook can be your centerpiece, but you need that table filled as well. And I think Brookfield's going to have a lot of pieces.
He is absolutely right. Getting Anna Reichert back for those tournament games, big. And now she's going to be back for the whole season this year. Yeah, I've seen her on the volleyball team, by the way. She's one of the stars of the volleyball program. She's an athlete. She's a pure athlete, plays full rotation. So I expect big things from her this year. And, he brought up Callie Wellman, who is the middle blocker for the volleyball team. Very tall presence. Should be a big force in the paint for Brookfield this year as well.
And winning those rebounding battles against your teams like your South Ranges and your Crestviews are going to be huge in trying to get away with MVAC tops of the MVAC. I don't know. I said South Range and I thought NE8 in my head, but no, tops of the MVAC is what Brookfield's in. So looking at that, for you to come out the tops of the MVAC, a very, very strong conference, both the Scarlet and Gray tier. Everyone in the MVAC is tough. For you to come on top, you're going to have to win those big games against big opponents, and those are your chances.
Later on, we have Walt the Shields, and we'll talk to him about West Branch girls basketball. But tomorrow, we venture into the other tier of the MVAC, and we're talking to Steve Miller. We talk about a conference that's going to be very interesting this year. That's a wild card conference because Western Reserve and McDonald have been running this show. Obviously, they both lost big key members of their teams. So now it's kind of like going to be a free-for-all in the MVAC. A lot of these young teams that are coming up chomping at the bit. Waterloo, you saw them a lot last year. Very young team, minus Brooke Weldeck. Of course, she graduated, but a lot of great players that are coming up on that team. We see Springfield with J.C. Mullen and Maddie Lesnick. We see Lowville with no seniors on the team last year at all, coming in with a lot of experience. It's going to be a very fun MVAC Gray tier as well as the Scarlet tier.
And I can't tell you how excited I am to be talking with Coach Miller of Western Reserve. A little bit of sweetheart school again for me. Got a chance to follow that very special girls basketball team in their tournament.
Now you got like 3 sweetheart teams. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if DJ could have 50 sweetheart teams, I think I could have a little bit. It's starting to get the 2 hands. I feel like, as far as sweethearts are concerned, it's getting a little bit out of hand. But now,
you called that East Canton game?
I called. I think a few games. I think 3 or 4 games on their tournament run. I followed them since they started, and only seeing them, I think, 1 regular season game prior to the playoffs. I can definitely say one of the best girls basketball teams I saw last year, but one of, if not the best coached girls basketball team last year. And I might be a little bit biased in saying that, and I love a lot of our area coaches, but Coach Miller, he's something special for that Western Reserve program.
We talk about this with football. It seems like every sport we can say we are blessed with amazing coaches.
Fantastic coach.
Like, boys basketball, girls basketball, we're about to go into that season. We have a who's who of just incredible coaches in our little area, in our little tri-county area, that you would be hard-pressed to find in any I would say any other 3-county area in the state of Ohio to find the plethora, as I used the word, the plethora of just high respected career seasoned coaches for that we do in our 3-county area. I don't think you could do it.
Astonishing. And of course, I'm going to be a little bit more biased to Coach Miller because I've had conversations with Coach Miller more than I've had with some of the other area coaches. But I know the area coaches out there. Excuse me. And I know that there's a lot of great coaches in this area, especially in the sport of basketball. And that's why I'm excited to get a chance to talk with a lot of them that I haven't gotten a chance to talk with.
Going to be talking to one real soon. Moat the Shield's coming up at 1:15, but we got to take a quick break and pay the bills here. We're going to take our first break at Running Point. We'll be back with more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Tab Bartel, and we are continuing this Tuesday edition of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood. You can see them above our heads, our wonderful sponsors. I want to remind everybody that whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, you can leave us a comment on the comment section, brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi. We would love to hear from you. We've already heard from a couple of great fans. One LeBray fan that's actually voting for Anthony Dema in the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley Player of the Year. Who knew? By the way, after that break, that total is at 88,265. So it's trekking up, but it's still got some work to do for the last hour of the show.
Yeah, they're definitely climbing. They're doing a great job at it. Also, I wanted to do a programming note. Nick Cantorino, the Campbell Memorial boys head basketball coach, also going to be on the show tomorrow. So don't think we forgot about you, Mr. Cantorino. We have you scheduled tomorrow, I believe, for 1:15 is when Coach Cantorino is going to be talking with us. So we got boys action and some girls action for you tomorrow as we continue our coverage of area coaches pretty much every day here on Running Point for you.
And we're going to be leading up hard to the basketball season, while still focusing on football. And that being said, yesterday, I keep saying last week, yesterday we got up to Division III as far as the playoff picture. Now let's look at Division IV and see some matchups that we got and some big time teams that we have here in Division IV.
In the YSN matchups, the first one you got to look at is our number 1 seeded West Branch Warriors. They will be facing number 16 seeded Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy. Cuyahoga Valley coming in at a 5-5 clip. Obviously, West Branch at 10-0. Cuyahoga's losses come against some quality opponents, though. And I think this is going to be a game that, again, West Branch is going to be tested. But I think that game against Salem is really going to help both those teams going into this game, going into the week 1 of the playoffs. I think both Salem and West Branch are going to benefit tremendously from having to go into that knock them down, shoot them out type of drag out style of game that they played.
Yeah, I think West Branch, they've been tested twice now this year. Howland took them to the brink, 37-34. They came out with that one. And everyone knows what that Salem and West Branch game came down to. What a game. We were so good we had to show it twice. We showed it last night at 4:30. And, man, Drew DeShields, I can't say enough about him. We've had him on the show. We've talked him up all week. We're going to talk to his dad in just a little bit. My word, he's phenomenal. I mean, I don't think people saw it coming, even though we had him on the show and he said he's been playing quarterback his whole life outside of last year. He took the step to wide receiver to make Brock Hilliard do what he did, and Brock Hilliard was fantastic as well, not taking anything away. But now all of a sudden here comes Drew DeShields kind of one-upping the trump card a little bit, throwing it on the table and saying, man, I can run this offense too, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah, and like I said, I have no other words for it other than he's special, and I mean, he really is. And if you're not convinced after that Week 10 performance, I don't know what's going to get you on the train then, because we're on the tracks and we're continuing to move. And I've been saying since I think about halfway through the season, and I mean, I think it just solidified my beliefs even more that this kid's something special for West Branch. And I mean, a 10-0 season against some quality opponents too. I mean, no doubt West Branch has been dynamic on offense.
Yeah, and some EBC teams that maybe weren't getting respect because of their record, but late in the season got some big wins that show you, okay, when West Branch beat them, that meant something. Like Marlington, they got the win over Carrollton. Carrollton got the win over Salem. So teams that have maybe when West Branch played them, people are like, okay, you're beating up these teams. Who cares? But then later in the season proved that they can beat some high-quality teams and those wins became more impressive. The Alliance win, I mean, we saw what Alliance did to Salem. Alliance is a good football team. West Branch handled that as well. So I think they've taken a lot of quality opponents this year, and that's why they're the 1 seed, of course.
Yeah, I mean, beating Canton South, beating Carrollton, beating Woodridge, beating Salem. I mean, all of these are winning football teams. The biggest thing you have to look at, too, the lowest amount of points scored this year by West Branch in a game, 37 against Howland.
That was against Howland.
One time they were held under 40 points this season. And that doesn't tell you how great this offense is.
Howland is Division 3? They're not 4, are they?
Yeah, Division 3 is what Howland is.
So, I mean, that's a Division 3 defense, and still scored 37 on them.
Absolutely. And, I mean, you're talking about playing the Division 4 schools left and right, and they've been beating a lot of good Division 4 schools.
This is going to be one of those 116 matchups that everyone's going to have their eye on and see. Is it a running clock? How fast does it get out of here?
Here's the matchup I want to think. And I think you might have to worry a little bit for Upset City, especially with the way Ursuline's been playing. But Ursuline, the number 3 seed versus Canton South, 14.
Well, here's one thing we know about Canton South. They can score with anybody.
Yeah, they can.
The question is, can their defense make stops? I mean, and we saw West Branch put up 60 plus. But Canton South's offense, they can score with anybody. We saw that against Howland last week. And we saw that against West Branch. They can score.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I think for both teams going into this one is the defense. And the only thing I can give Ursuline a little bit of credit in is that when it comes to those big defensive stops, it seems like they can make those big defensive stops when they need that one stop. They can make it. And that might be what favors the Irish. I have no worries about their offense as long as they could keep it a clean game and not turn the ball over. I think their offense is as dynamic as anybody in Division 4. And I think Ursuline is definitely going to be up there with the favorites in D4, but this is going to be a test for them in the first round. I don't think Canton South is a pushover.
You know why their defense makes those big plays? Because at the end of the day, they just have playmakers. Maybe they're not the best defense in the world. They allow their yards, they allow their points, but they have playmakers, man. They have guys that just know how to make big plays all over the field, and that might be the difference. They might make the game-winning plays. I use that phrase a lot, and there are some teams that can make game-winning plays and some teams that can't. And Ursuline, this might come down to they just have kids that know how to go make game-winning plays.
And it might be a case where you just might have to start playing Ursuline defense with a little bit tighter coverage and maybe just straight up man-to-man and let your athletes do athlete work. I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Coach Reardon changes anything up defensively. But the biggest thing with both these teams and what's going to make this matchup particularly fun is that their answer for anything in football is just add more offense. They scored a point. Defense is lacking. Okay, more offense. And I mean, from the running backs of both teams to the receiving core to the quarterback, this is going to be a great matchup, and I think a very high-scoring matchup.
Someone came to Coach Reardon and said, maybe we should plug up this defense a little bit. Reardon said, nah, give me more weapons. More weapons.
And then DeMarcus McElroy goes out there and rushes for 300 yards a game for you, while Brady Shannon's already tossing seeds all over the field.
Their offense is ridiculous. Their defense makes big plays. Well, let's put it that way. They make big plays.
And that's going to be the biggest thing. As long as the defense can come through and just give the offense chances, I think that's going to be the biggest thing on Ursuline's run.
I would be shocked if this wasn't a extremely high-scoring game.
Oh, I definitely would be too. As next up, we are going to have our 6 versus 11 matchup of Salem versus Woodridge. Woodridge with a 6-4 record. Salem, of course, 7-3. But those 3 losses to Salem were all against quality opponents. All 3 of them heartbreakers too in the final seconds of a game.
How much does Salem have to be put through this year? I mean,
but here's what it has.
They make it worth it with a playoff run because they don't make it all worth it.
If Salem just needs to figure out how to make that game-winning play. And if they can do that,
it's my line.
They can run Division 4 because they've already proven they can come this close to beating that number 1 seed in Division 4. And I don't think West Branch, if there's one opponent in this division that I feel like West Branch does not want to face again, I think it's Salem. I think West Branch welcomes anybody, but I feel like if there's one opponent in this division, I don't think you want to see Salem again.
Well, this is funny too. If Salem wins and Ursuline wins, that's round 2.
That's gonna be
that'd be a good one.
Yep. That'll be a great one too. All YSN coverage. So we're gonna be excited for that one. I'm excited for this matchup, but it's a matchup I think Salem's just a quality team. I know it's a matchup between closer seedings, but I feel like Salem just has a little bit more of an advantage in this one. As long as that offense can stay and hold up and make those game-winning plays. And I think they can learn a lot about themselves if they can make those game-winning plays or just pull off a win in the playoffs in this first round.
Absolutely. What do we have going down the list of Division 4?
Going down the list and going out of the teams now that are home teams, everyone now below the 8 seed, and it's the number 9 seed, Poland, just missing the home field, but they will be going to play Fairless in a first round matchup, 8 versus 9. Fairless 9-1 on the season, Poland 7-3. Those losses, of course, the quality opponents, as Triway was the one loss for the Fairless Falcons, who record-wise, they've beaten 2 teams that are 1-9 this year, a team that's 1-8, a team that's 2-8, a third team, 3 teams that are 1-9. So not really
too confident.
Yeah, not a whole lot of impressiveness on that record, where Poland obviously has beaten everyone in the NE8 with the exception of 10-0 South Range and 9-1 Hubbard. And they also have a loss to a 9-1 Campfield team up in Division 3, but wins against D3, Louisville, Howland. All those are definitely helping Hubbard in this one, and I think they played quality opponents all season.
Here's just going to be the thing about Poland, and this is it. I mean, when they played the high-quality, high-caliber playoff teams, they were competitive. They were right there, but they didn't win. Can they make that switch and say, we're going to win against high-quality playoff teams and make a deep tournament run? Because if they win this game, then they go in, they'll have to play West Branch. And, obviously that'll be, if that happens in West Branch wins and Poland wins, that'd be a solid defense, maybe the best defense in the area versus this high caliber, good luck stopping the offense.
Yeah, and that's the backs that Poland's going to have to play on, is their defense in these games. And you know what? You look at an opponent that has wins, but not a lot of wins against quality opponents. I think I take the defense always in this one, especially when playoffs come around. I think Poland, even though being the away team, I still think the Bulldogs are going to have the advantage in this one.
Yeah, and once again, these are even, so these will be on Friday night.
Yep.
Friday nights are even divisions, all divisions Saturday.
As we go down one spot to Beaver Local at the 10 seed, that loss hurt Beaver Local, dropped them a little bit, and it sets them up playing Cleveland Glenville in round 1. And this is one where I feel like I had a lot of good reads on Beaver Local, and then this last week kind of just surprised me, and now I'm kind of questioning what the Beavers are bringing, and I'm just feeling like I'm hoping it's just a bump in the road for Beaver Local.
I got to see a lot of that game. We had an audible call a lot. It was just one of those games where things just didn't go right for Beaver Local. It is one of those times. I don't think it was a schematic thing. I don't think it was exposing the lack of talent or anything like that. I think it was just one of those nights where, man, if it went wrong for Beaver Local, and everything went right, it seemed like, for Wheeling Central. So just one of those games you have to wash out and still have a really good season and go into the playoffs with a confident attitude.
Well, we know the last time Beaver Local was suffering off of a couple of losses. They won 7 straight football games, and they did so in a pretty good fashion. So
I love a 7-game win streak now.
Yeah, if they could go on a big win streak now, I think Mikey McKenzie might not have a voice by the end of the win streak.
I don't think either one of them. I mean, you corrected you. I don't think either one of them would have.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them. But Mikey, I was more saying because of the voice aspect. But yeah, I guess Coach McKenzie too wouldn't have much of a voice too. But I mean, this is still a matchup where Beaver Local now, I feel like they're going to come in a little bit of those underdogs, and losing to Cleveland Shaw last year. You're playing another one of those Cleveland teams, and it might not be the same team, but you can get a little bit of revenge. And it always seems like Beaver Local, it's those Cleveland teams that everyone always questions Beaver Local playing. So this is your chance to prove all of them wrong.
This is your chance indeed. Let's venture a little bit more down the line for Division 4.
As the last one on our docket for Division 4 that has a matchup, it is going to be the number 12 seeded Gerard playing the number 5 seeded Gates Mills Gilmore Academy.
And this game will be a Saturday afternoon. Reminder that because Gilmore Academy doesn't have lights in their stadium, so this has to be played on Saturday at about 1:30.
And this is another one of those matchups where it's going to be interesting to see because Gerard's looked pretty good, especially ending the season.
They're getting healthy. That's the thing. They're getting healthy. They had a lot of injuries in the middle of the season that held them back.
And you know what? Coming off of 3 losses in the middle of the season, that was that 3-game stretch versus South Range, Poland, and Hubbard. And tough games at that, but coming out and winning 2 straight versus Struthers and Niles, both teams that were competing for playoff spots with Gerard at that point. And Gerard put Struthers out of the playoff picture, put Niles out of the playoff picture, both bang, bang with wins. And Gerard had to beat 2 quality teams also fighting for their playoff life to get here. They've proven that they can win those big games with their backs against the wall because Gerard, we know, was fighting for their playoff life. They got the spot. They're still going to be that away team, but hey, they've been doubted all this point up into just these last 2 weeks of the season, and now it's up to Gerard. Gilmore Academy, they're a quality team. Their 2 losses coming against quality opponents in Brush and Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, and they've beaten some quality schools. But not a school that has a better record than 6-2. A lot of schools with 5-5 records, 5-3s. We got, I'm sure, look further into it and see that those schools probably played quality opponents too, and that's probably why they're ranked a little bit higher. But hey, Gerard, if they're healthy and if they're complete, they're going to be a tough out, and I think Gerard can be definitely put on upset alert, especially being in that 12th spot.
Well, they would be putting Gilmore on upset alert. They're not on upset alert.
Yeah, well, yeah, upset alert for that game is what I meant.
But shout out to Michael Palmer, who has 1,000 yards in his first varsity season and now 1,000 career yards as well. So he's been having a good year, and, hoping to have a good year is a legend joining us out of West Branch. It is Walt DeShields, the head coach of the girls basketball program over there. Coach,
what's up, guys?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Coach. Can you hear us? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. How you
Awesome.
guys doing?
We're doing good. Thank you for joining us.
And Coach, I just want to start off by saying, I mean, you guys obviously one of the best programs, or one of the better ones definitely in girls basketball in the area. Looking at what you guys were able to do last year, let's look ahead and kind of meet the team this year. Who are going to be the big playmakers that you're expecting this year, and who are going to be some dark horse younger girls that you think are going to have an impact and maybe a chance to even get some big minutes down the stretch?
Yeah, well, we got, a couple good 2 starters coming back and 2 seniors. They were their second and third leading scorer last year, and one of them is Anna Lippiott, 5'11" guard, shooting guard. And she's been a 4-year starter for us, and we're expecting a lot of leadership out of her with the younger girls. Also, Sydney Mercer, who you've seen on the volleyball court and softball field. Sydney is a dynamic player, physical player, 5'9", but plays a lot bigger than that. She, gets a lot of rebounds and real physical at both ends of the floor. And we're expecting some leadership. She was our leading rebounder last year and our second leading scorer. She made second team All-League, and Anna made honorable mention. From that point, we're pretty young. But we've got some talent and some size. In our junior class, Hannah Egley, which Emma Egley was our point guard last year, went on to Marietta to play soccer. And Hannah is going to be one of our wings as well, really good shooter. And also then another junior, Cammie Campbell, who really has worked hard, had a great offseason in the summer, put a lot of time in, and she's actually the granddaughter of legendary West Branch coach Chuck Campbell. And she's put a lot of time in, and she's also going to help us a lot this year as a junior. She's like 5'8". Also in our sophomore class, a couple of players that played quite a bit for us last year. Sofia Gregory, you've seen her in a tough tough battle in soccer last week against Canfield. Just a dynamic athlete, 6'1" or 6'2". She's going to end up being our point guard, probably the tallest point guard we've ever had. Also, Olivia Showalter, she played quite a bit for us last year at center. She's a 6'1" or 2" on the volleyball court as well. And then Michaelin Fitz, another 6'1" sophomore, plays volleyball. The nice thing about West Branch is we like girls that play multiple sports and get involved in a lot of things in the community and everything else.
I imagine you just listed a couple of 6'2", 6'1" girls. Then you have Sydney Mercer, who's 5'9", but plays like she's 6 foot with her physicality. I don't think rebounding and height are going to be a problem for you guys this year.
No, I think we're going to look a little bit like some boys teams, and our size and length is going to be really, really fun to coach. We're going to do some different things this year because of it, especially at the defensive end. We've got to get a little bit better, handling the ball and making good decisions on offense, and get a couple other people to step up and be scorers besides, Sydney and Anna. But we think we've got that. We had a great summer, did a lot of camps this summer, went down to Xavier down in Cincinnati and had a good camp against a lot of good teams. Sherrodsville all the time in the Huggins camp. We were in the Final Four there. So it's an exciting season, very optimistic, but we definitely have to, create some depth off of our bench and, really work hard in this preseason. We got some great scrimmages coming along. Kent McKinley's coming here at West Branch, along with a lot of teams, Howland and Fitch, and a lot of big Division I schools, Gilmore Academy at first weekend. And then we've got to go to Stowe. We go over to Dalton for a good scrimmage all the time, and also with Struthers at the foundation game over at the field house.
You look at this schedule that you put together. It's always a tough schedule for your program. Talk about some of the teams. Obviously, we know the EBC and what tough schedule that is. Talk about the non-conference schedule and some of the teams that are going to be sharpening your tools this year to get you ready for the tournament.
Yeah, our league's always tough. So, you can't take a night off. And Marlington's going to be good again. That's 3 of our 5 losses last year. We went 20-5, and 3 of them were to Marlington and lost in the district semifinal to them. And Salem's always good. They're going to come out and pressure you and play physical. A lot of teams in our league are very well coached. The scouting and everything, you just can't really do anything, special. They're going to know what you got, and we know what they have. Carrollton's going to be a bigly improved team this year, along with Canton South. So our league's always tough. And then as far as non-league, we play a lot of the same teams we played last year, and a lot of them have a lot of returning players. We open up with Garrettsville Garfield, who pretty much have their whole lineup back. I think they had 1 senior last year. He's expecting in Division III to do really well again over at Garfield. We play Canfield. We have them at home this year. We've struggled a little bit against them the last couple of years. They're a big rivalry for us and always get us ready for our league. We have them right before Thanksgiving. East Liverpool's a new one this year. We go down to East Liverpool and play them. We still have Boardman. We still have Austintown Fitch. And we play New Philly, 3 Division I schools that all battle us really well. We play Doylestown Chippewa, and they're very well coached as well. And then we got Cardinal Mooney, and we also play in a couple of invitationals. And I think, with high school players, you give them opportunity to have memories with their season. And 2 of the memories that I think we're going to have this year, one is we're going to play in the United Way Classic at Poland. Now, we're excited. We're the only girls game. Us in Poland, Nick Blanche and I, we're great friends. He's a great coach. He's always well prepared. His teams play hard. And we're going over to Poland to play them in between a couple boys games. But the idea of United Way and what it does is more important, and that's what we're going to teach the girls as we go into that Invitational Classic. The other one we're going to is over at Glen Oak, and Coach Wackerly's putting on a great Wishes Can Happen tournament. We're playing West Geauga out of Cleveland, who had a really good season last year as well. And that, Wishes Can Happen. They're going to send a couple of kids down to Disney in Florida with the money that they make from that tournament.
Coach, I want to just compliment first off what you've been able to do with West Branch and girls basketball, and I mean impressive records over the years. I want to just ask you this: what does it mean to you to have your name, and of course with your wife Penny doing what she does with the volleyball team? What does it mean to have your name attached to such a big impact in so many young women's lives over the years, and such a big impact in now the evolution of women's sports as a whole?
Well, it's, women's sports as a whole has really grown from, 20, 30 years ago. But, kind of started with Chuck Campbell and when they won the state title in 2004, he'll even go back to the team and, back in the 90s that went to state that kind of really got this program at another level. But, basically just we always go back and talk about some of our past teams and past players. What it means to be a West Branch Lady Warrior, and basically that the program is bigger than them, and they're part of something for 4 years. They kind of carry that torch for 4 years, and what are they going to do? How are they going to be remembered? What kind of footprints are they going to leave behind? And they really work hard. Our program has, built on hardworking girls and a great community that supports us. And as a coach, when I took the program over 17 years ago, I told myself that I was hoping not to let the program down. I was going to work extremely hard and get the girls to continue to do that as well, and just, keep building from there. But they know that they're part of something special.
The success of the program is not hard to find. You go into the gym, you can see all the banners, you can see everything that this program has done. Do you think that being said, the prestige that West Branch girls basketball has makes the young kids in the program that are, seventh and eighth grade coming into freshman year want to work that much harder to not be the one that, oh man, we're gonna take down this to keep this program prestige up and to make sure that they're doing what they have to do when they come into high school to keep the program legacy where it's at?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, we hang up pictures in our locker room. A lot of people don't see our locker room, but they see some of the championship teams, and every year we get a couple of young ball girls, sixth grade ball girls. And it's funny to go back and see a lot of our players that went on to be varsity players and superstars that were ball girls for us that were in that locker room in sixth grade. And they look up at those pictures on how small and tiny they were. And, they look at all that success, and they want to have a taste of that too. They want to be remembered. They want to put their number as seniors up on that banner so that they're remembered as well. But it does put a little added pressure, but we don't look at it that way. We look at it, just daily work, getting prepared for the next opponent, and just, we celebrate our successes when the season's over, at the banquet and things like that. We have a lot of fun during the season. It's about having fun. It's high school sports. It's about experiences and relationships and things like that. I just went over and saw, Jillian Pigeon was a starter for us last year, a real good player, honorable mention all Ohio, and she was over playing at Mount Union Soccer. And Emma Egley, our point guard last year, like I mentioned earlier, was at Marietta, and they were playing each other over at Mount Union Stadium. And I think there were more West Branch people there than Mount Union people there for fans. So it was exciting to see those two, start their college career.
I feel like we've completed the Monopoly set, whatever that green property set is on West Branch, because we got you on, we had Penny on the show, and we had Drew on before. Talking with both Penny and Drew, we know that household is competitive. So I have to ask you, what gives you the competitive edge in that house?
I guess I'm the alpha male, the dad. But Drew said it earlier, which coach would he rather play for? He kind of said me because my wife yells a lot. I've heard that a few times myself, but we're real competitive in our house, but it's all fun. We play fantasy football and we're talking trash on Sunday afternoons or hoping our guy scores Monday night to win. But my wife doesn't like that much. She's right now, a lot of times on Sunday, she's out in the kitchen cooking for the linemen that block for Drew. So it's just a real competitive. I mean, she has 312 wins now, and I'm sitting on 300, so I can't wait till the season starts so I can maybe hopefully go past her again. She's having a great volleyball year, and we'll be there tomorrow night at Alliance against Mentor Lake Catholic, and we're going to stop practice a little short. Right now, we don't have a lot of girls in the gym because, we have a lot of volleyball players, and soccer just lost, so we give them a little bit of time in between seasons. So we're looking at 7 or 8 girls. We can't even go 5-on-5 right now in the gym. But we're going to give them a little bit of time off to go see that volleyball game. And certainly Friday night, the playoff game, again, we'll stop practice short because we want to get those girls there and being part of that big crowd. And how about that Salem game, huh?
I was just about to ask you about that because we want to, this is a basketball preview, but you're getting ready to be a coach. You got to be a fan on Saturday. Heart rate level, where was it at as that game kind of developed the way it did?
It's a lot tougher watching your kid than it is coaching. And, you can see behind me, I got pictures of Drew, TJ down there playing quarterback down at Sol Ross in Texas. And just it's harder to watch your kid play as a parent. I never thought it would be that way because I coached football for 13 years and baseball for 30 years and now basketball for 30 years. And it's a lot harder watching your kid, especially in a game like that, your rivalry, the place is packed. It was exciting. I mean, our community, the last probably 2 or 3 minutes of that game in overtime, you couldn't hear a thing. Our community was on their feet, people that you hadn't seen for a while, but just an exciting game. And it was tough for either team to lose that game. I think they learned a lot from it, and not both teams, like we jumped on them, took that early lead, and then they came back and didn't quit and took the lead back on us. And I think that was important for our kids to lose that lead and see what they're made of. And they certainly showed that at the end of the game. I got 2 of them sitting here in the room with me. Stephen Marr is sitting over here doing physics. And Drew's just taking the period off. I think he's got study hall this period, so he just sits over there and I don't know, plays PlayStation or looks for new fantasy players to beat his dad. I don't know what he's doing over there, but they're sitting over here in the room. And come on over, guys, for just a second. And we're excited, but it's all over now, and they know they got to get prepared for CVCA. It's a new season. They took a deep breath on Sunday. They're 10-0. Can't take that away from them. Yeah, get in here, guys. This is who I get to see every day.
You love guest appearances.
And with that too, I mean, we gotta ask Steven too. You're gonna have both of you actually. You gotta give your campaign for Big Dog of the Year. Both of you right now have a chance to campaign for yourself. You're both up for it.
2 big dogs. I'm really small. Look how little I look compared to them. They're the big dogs around here, not me.
As both of them now have a chance to get Big Dog of the Year. I mean, football voting, we got to see where that one's at. There's already, I think we were over 39,000 right now. We're almost at 40,000 votes right now. So you got two West Branch guys in there. So you guys, a little bit of internal competition going on as well for Big Dog of the Year.
Is there any way we can get those 2 to tie?
We already said that soccer playoffs are commencing, so no one's tying anymore here.
Okay, yeah.
So
penalty kicks, right? Yeah.
Penalty kicks. Well,
as coach, before we kind of let you go though, and kind of to just wrap up this this whole basketball preview, let's wrap up by kind of meeting the rest of your staff and some of those assistants and some of those big people that are going to be helping you out along the way. You could even shout out the ball girls as well.
There's another legend in West Branch right behind me.
This is this.
Yeah, isn't this amazing?
Who's who?
Everybody wants to come to my room and see me, and I don't know what's going on. But Penny has been an assistant for me the last 5-6 years now, and certainly, not just my wife, but I'm kind of the boss in the gym for basketball. She is at home, and I don't know that much about volleyball, so I try to tell her, what to do and how to play and who to play, but she knows I don't really know what I'm talking about a whole lot. I just kind of look at girls and who works hard. She's going to help us out as much as she can. She's now the assistant principal at the high school, so she's pretty busy. Bob Shepard is going to be an assistant coach for us this year. Bob is coming back. He was on Chuck Campbell's staff as a JV coach many, many years ago. Bob is also a varsity assistant football coach for us, so I don't expect to see him for about 6 more weeks. At least I hope it's 6 more weeks, because that'll be the state finals. But also Lou Celeroli, and Lou's been the head boys coach here, and he's been back and forth between the girls program and the boys program, but he's been back with me now for 4 years. He's coaching our JV team, and just a wealth of knowledge for Lou. And then also Mike Butcher, my brother-in-law, in 34 straight years with the girls basketball program. We've had 27 winning seasons in a row without a losing season. So that's, something, again, that you guys mentioned earlier about the program and how girls want to be part of that and continue that, that tradition. But Mike's been here 34 years, and just, again, the great knowledge. And when he's in the gym, a lot of the girls, really learn a lot, not just about basketball, but about life and everything else. Our middle school coaches, we got a new 8th grade coach, Tony Lucente. He's going to be the first year with us, and he's from Struthers, but he's teaching here now, so he wanted to coach 8th grade. And then Chris Adams has been with me all 17 years. Another, guy that's been in the football program, been at West Branch for almost 35 years teaching and coaching different sports. And his son's the center that snaps the ball to Drew all the time. So we're one big happy family here. No matter what sports you play, we're one big happy community, and everybody, knows everybody. And as you guys well saw, the support from the West Branch side, it was 5:30, and our stands were already packed. It was hard to find a seat by 6. And I know Salem was a little bit late coming. They packed the place too, but they got there probably between 6 and 7. But our community is so excited about being there for a team that has worked hard and had that much success.
It's a perfect segue, because my last question for you is the community support for your program. You guys travel better than almost anybody. Anywhere you go, you're going to see a lot of green in the stands. And now this year, you got to get back to full capacity crowds and get those crowds behind you. What's it going to mean to this program to be able to let that West Branch community kind of flow in back to the basketball courts?
Yeah, well, this is our 50th year for the girls basketball program at West Branch, and we have 783 wins, and we're trying to go for 800 this year. Just another milestone. We have a lot of loyal fans that have been coming for years and years and years. We get fans as we go along. If the more we're winning, the more come. But our away crowds are really good. Our girls know that when they show up to some gyms, we'll have more people there than the home team. And they know that the harder they work and the farther they go and the more success they have, more people will show up. But it's just a great community. People are excited about the football program right now, but they're also, been talking about basketball starting up here. Our boys programs won the league the last 2 years in a row, and our wrestling program's always really good as well. So just in general, just the success and the hard work of the kids, it's just a lot of fun for them to get that kind of support. And last year, showed up to a football game, and the team had a great year. They made the playoffs and lost a really close one that we battled back against Ursuline. But you could hardly see anybody in the stands because it was mostly parents, or they can only allow a certain percentage in. So it was really small crowds. And for a team to win that much, that was tough. And, because if last year's team would have had the same kind of crowds, and this year to see those crowds come to some of our soccer matches and volleyball and now with football, the crowds that we're getting, we're just hoping that continues on into the winter.
I'll tell you, it really helps that your shade of green sticks out no matter where you're going.
Yeah, it's a unique color. There's not a lot of schools around that have that color, and that's the nice thing about that. You get a lot of reds and blues, but when you see green, you know who it is usually.
You're going to West Branch. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Good luck in the upcoming season, and I'm sure we will talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, I was listening earlier, and I just wanted to say to Ty, Steve Miller, come on, the best coach in the area.
Okay, all right.
We went over into his house last year, and we're 1-0 against Steve. So,
man,
I'll keep that in mind too. We'll be talking some more, Coach. Don't worry, we'll be talking some more.
Okay, guys, you guys do a great job. You got a wealth of knowledge. I've been listening to your football stuff and now basketball stuff, and you just got a lot of nice insight. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it always, and good luck and covered all the football here coming down the stretch and then on into basketball. We're looking forward to seeing you.
We appreciate you, Coach. Thank you so much again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
We'll be talking to Coach, I'm sure, again on this season, too.
He called you out, man.
He did call me out, too. And, hey, like I said, I haven't talked with as many basketball coaches in the area. And I think West Branch was actually one of the ones that kind of slipped my tour. I was able to get to about 26 schools, and West Branch was one that kind of slipped through the cracks. I might have to do my due diligence and go out there and see a West Branch game now. And I think West Branch, if West Branch plays Fitch, we'll have to see. I got to check if that's a home or away matchup. But either way, maybe I'll have to be in attendance for that one.
Well, they were, I don't know where. I was thinking Canfield. They were at Canfield last year, so they're home against Canfield this year. But we'll see.
Excited for that this season too. As a great discussion and
ultimate competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he has those nuggets about everything too. I'm sure we'll have to ask Coach Miller about that.
And I'm sure Coach Miller might have been listening today, and he might have something to say about that tomorrow. So
yeah, we'll be excited too to listen to Coach Miller and everyone. We have Coach Miller and Coach Canarino tomorrow. We'll remember Campbell boys basketball and Western Reserve girls. So we're still on the basketball talks going forward.
We are, and then as we go along the week, it doesn't get any less busy. I mean, you'll look at Thursday. We have Francis Kelly. He's kind of a name, I think
a pretty big name in boys basketball.
You might know who he is. And then we'll have Tom Siegfried from Louisville on Thursday, and then Friday we round it out by not only talking about our playoff games and our playoff weekend, but we will also have William Franklin as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to talk about another one of those sweetheart. It's not sweetheart schools as much as it is program. Like Waterloo is a sweetheart school. Like I've grown to love everything about that school and that community just because I'm around it a lot. But like there's programs I love, and I think it's just because of the coaches and the culture they build in the program. Like I love the Western Reserve girls program, but I love what Coach Francis Shelley has done with the McDonald boys program too. And Coach Francis Shelley, I mean, I mean, just a great guy, too, on top of everything. And that's one thing I'll always say about Coach. And excited to talk with him this week. And we knew that McDonald boys team was a high-flying, high-octane offense last year. And
I remember very distinctly last year when the brackets came out and JFK got the 2 seed and McDonald got the 1. And JFK went right to McDonald's bracket, didn't do what everyone else did and avoid the 1 seed. I was thinking to myself, whoa. Like JFK knows something that we don't. Like they understand, they saw something on film. They know they can compete with this team. And JFK's credit, they kind of came in and they beat McDonald. But McDonald's going to use that for motivation this year to be just as good or better.
And McDonald isn't a team that rebuilt. So you look at the seniors that lost, and we know Jacob Portalese was a fantastic shooter for that team. But we look at and a lot of actual seniors that were lost though. But in what McDonald's going to bring back, they reload that program, and that is such a proud basketball program. And I think Coach Franticelli's a fantastic coach to be in that program too. So that's going to be exciting going forward. And I'm excited to talk with Coach this week as well.
Yeah, a lot of basketball to talk about this week. A lot of more football to talk about as well. Did we? I see all this stuff. Did we finish Division 4?
I believe we did. We finished talking about Gerard, who was our 12 seed.
Since we did, let's just have a candid discussion about West Branch. And we just talked about Walter Shields and his girls basketball program. When he said Sofia Gregory is going to be a point guard, and she's 6'2", and we saw her as kind of a wing player last year here and there, as Spotty gets some time off the bench. And I tell you, in the games I got to see from West Branch, they had their own guy that covered most of their home games, but I got to see a couple of them. Man, did Gregory impress me with the little time that she got. Obviously, a great soccer season. 6'2" point guard is going to be really hard to deal with, not just on offense, but especially that length on defense guarding someone else's point guard. Watch out. Watch out.
You're going to have to switch on defense. And if they have height all over the place, as it seems like West Branch is going to come at you with, it's going to be hard because you could try to switch someone off of defense and you could bring one of your forwards in to try to cover that guard on defensively. But then if they have height everywhere else, then you leave a hole defensively. Then all of a sudden on the interior, because Sofia Gregory is going to be playing most likely from a spot up top of the key and a half court approach. So you can bring one of the taller players out, and that really brings up a team rebounding wise. It gives them a disadvantage on the interior to try to guard her. But most guards are around 5'5", and having a 7-inch advantage, you're going to see a lot of driving lanes all of a sudden open up for Sofia Gregory, and that's going to be a problem to try to deal with.
And we know how good they are going to be at rebounding. I mean, Sydney Mercer is just a physical 5'9". I guess you'd call her a forward a little bit. Showalter gets in there, gets tons of rebounds, and they have tall guards that can go up. I love guards that get rebounds because then you automatically have a ball handler with possession, and they can make good decisions right when they get the rebound.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be exciting because also when you have that type of height too, Sofia Gregory is going to see the floor a lot better than a lot of guards are. And if she has that high IQ as far as the passing, she's already going to have more passing vision than almost every other guard she's going to come across. So she's going to have those passing lanes that she's going to see that no one else really can. So I feel like if this offense is running through her and she's as good of a passer as she is a scorer, and she knows when to take her shots and when to pass out, I think this is an offense that can be one of the most dynamic in the area.
Excited to see Hannah Egley and what she can do for this program. Her sister was a very good player, obviously going to play college soccer. So excited to see what the younger Egley Hannah can do coming into her junior season, I believe. So it's going to be a fun team to watch.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of fun girls basketball teams to watch under our YSN coverage banner. And it is going to be a fun season coming up, and I can't wait for it.
You talk about the rivalry being good, strong in football. I mean, look at that girls' basketball matchup between Salem and West Branch now.
It's every sport, but West Branch. What are we talking about? It's soccer. It happened.
You look at the names.
That
girls' basketball team. That girls' basketball matchup. Abby Davidson on Salem's side. Anna Lippian on West Branch's side. Jenna McClish. And you go Egley. It says, superstar. Gonna be fun.
Yeah,
gonna be real fun. I can't wait.
West Branch is.
Now look at you. You got me itching for basketball season now.
Yeah, and when you talk to all these great area coaches, it's easy to get the excitement and basketball fever. And it's one of those cases where I'm not a huge fan of the winter, not a huge fan of the snow, but basketball season is the shining light in the cold winter for me. And going indoors to the gyms, the warm gyms, and watching some fantastic area basketball is what I look forward to for the winters.
Another thing about the West Branch Board, that schedule is legit. You got Doylestown Chippewa, who's a Division III powerhouse, usually in the regionals. He said that they have Gilmore Academy, Canfield, Boardman, Cardinal Mooney as well. It's a monster schedule Austintown Fitch, of course. It's going to be a tough sled for West Branch. They opened the season with Garrettsville Garfield, too.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, looking real quick at Big Dogs, it's over 94,000. They're so close. They're so close. We got to give them that 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute dash. They try to get 6,000. And I don't know if they can do that or not. I would
honestly be so impressed if they got 6,000.
I would be so impressed if they did that, though. But let's see how close they can get. They're definitely going to surpass 100,000. This thing might hit 1 million. And if this thing hits 1 million before Sunday, I am going to be at a loss for words if this thing hits 1 million before Sunday. If you guys can compile 1 million votes on this poll, that's going to be absolutely
1 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's the meme we're going to have to post on the social media then. Just take a picture of the votes and just the meme 1 million.
You can't resist the pop culture references when they pop up on Running Point.
This is, I mean, absolutely insane. We love the support, too. And, I mean, Big Dog of the Year stakes are raised. And now you're competing football versus volleyball. Who's going to win in that one? Football's making a little bit of a comeback.
Has the 13,000 advantage right now. So
yeah.
In the lead.
From that lead, though, is football. They're cutting it a little bit. They're cutting it.
With these numbers, the 13,000 is nothing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could just get an influx of football votes, and that might happen too. We'll see. I mean, Friday night still is going to be, I think, big for football, where you might see a lot of football voting going on, but volleyball going on too. So we'll see.
Next week's going to be fun because we get to talk to 2 Baird Brothers Player of the Year, and we'll get them on for a second time of the season. But not only will we get to talk to we're going to talk to them about winning Bear Dogs of the Valley. Now that we get to talk to them about winning against all the other winners that have proven that their communities can vote just as well as anybody.
And that's going to be the most the best part is if we can get that high number. And I mean, 1 million would be incredible, but just to say to that kid that over 1 million people voted on this thing, and you were the one that came on top. That's going to be that's a cool thing.
Imagine if they got 500,000.
Even that too. It's almost at 100,000 right now, and it's been up
for a day yet. It hasn't been 24 hours.
Yeah, it hasn't even been up for 24 hours, and we're almost at 100,000 votes. That's going to be absolutely insane, and I think we'll definitely get to 500,000 by the end of the week. I think 500,000 is within grasp. If they can keep this kind of voting up, I think it's for sure definitely a possibility. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how resilient they are in the voting and how long they keep it up.
Get out there, vote. Baird Brothers, Big Dog of the Valley. Once again, you go to ysnlive.com/big dogs, and you'll pop up that list of players, and you can just hit vote and then refresh the page, hit vote again. It is unlimited. Vote as many times as your fingers will allow you to, or our servers. Please don't break our website. It's unlimited. It goes until Sunday this time at midnight. Sunday at midnight once again. So get out there and vote.
Yep, absolutely. Get out there and vote, and just fill those ballots up, and we're excited for it too. And other things we have to do too, on top of talking about talking basketball coaches, we're also going to probably need to finish up sometime this week our talks of our Division 5, 6, and 7 matchups.
Oh, yeah.
And what we have in football, I believe we have 4 teams representing D5 in the area, so that should be fun. We could probably talk about that at some point tomorrow as well. So look forward to that, as I believe it's going to be South Range, Garfield, Edison, Crestview are the 4 teams I think for sure we're going to be talking about. There might be a 5th one in there that I'm missing, but I think those are the 4 that we are definitely going to be talking about. Excited for this week. A lot of football talk, a lot of basketball talk, volleyball playoffs tonight. I'll be at Solon. It's going to be a great night.
Speaking of South Range, wink, wink. Maybe Romo and Jamie would never want me to wear a jersey again.
Yeah,
I don't think it gave them good mood to.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gave South Range good mojo, but I haven't seen you wearing any Chiefs gear lately, Anthony. What's been going on with that?
I'm in Missouri. It's easy.
I was gonna say you're not donning your
I
like
always got the I'm blocking it. I always
Yeah.
got the arrowhead.
Yeah, you don't want to show.
I'm rocking it. We're good. We're going through a dry spell. It's
turning the ball over.
Everything is fine. It's all fine. I don't cry myself to
cup
sleep
in your hand.
I don't cry to myself to sleep at night.
Oh man, but no, it's
Mahomes went down with a concussion in garbage time of a football game. Why is he in? I don't know, but he's gonna be fine.
But no, definitely. I don't know if Jamie and Roma are probably never going to want you to don anything that's Hubbard.
I've burned that bridge.
Yeah, congrats. I think it was the thought. I think it was the fact that you wore the Hubbard gear and picked against it that threw the mojo all off.
Yeah, that did it. You're right.
Yeah, that was it. But no,
right, by the way, it was a good pick.
Congratulations, though, to South Range, and once again proving kings of the NE8, and an emphatic victory over Hubbard. And yeah, South Range, you got to give them credit where credit is due. A Division 5 school that plays nothing but up divisions almost their whole schedule, and they complete the 10-0 season.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and I think there were some comments and there were some grumblings over, South Range put out a formula. Now anyone could beat Hubbard. That's been the game plan for Hubbard's opponents all year. South Range didn't do something new and break out this brand new defensive formula. They just had the tools to execute it. That's the only difference. And it's hard to have the tools to execute it, obviously, for a reason. Hubbard's being as successful as they are for a reason, because every team's trying to do what South Range did and can't. The formula's always been there. You just have to have the tools to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's really going to be a case where I think South Range is just they have just the athletes. They have such a fantastic team over there. And Division 5, it's going to go through, I think, Kirtland and South Range. I really do. Defensive
line is just not talked about for South Range enough, because obviously their offense is great, and but their defensive line, they proved and I think their two toughest opponents, probably Springfield, Hubbard, just starting in the season, they won both those games pretty much because their defensive line dominated both those teams.
Yeah, and it's definitely a case where South Range's defense doesn't get credit because their offense is so dynamic, but their defense, we said, has been just as good, and if not one of the best in the area as well. So going to be exciting. We'll be talking about them, though, and their matchups, all the Division 5 matchups.
They have Rootstown, I believe.
Yep.
Shocker, one of our teams is playing Rootstown.
Yeah, I know, again. So we'll be excited to talk about those matchups, too, tomorrow, and we'll have to get into some D6. I feel like Division 6 is where we're going to have a bunch loaded teams, a lot of YSN teams in Division 6, and a handful in Division 7 as well.
I think Division 6 is also where you have the biggest potential for chaos.
Division 6, could be chaotic in literally the first round. Yeah. It really could. Everything can get thrown out of whack in that first round.
I know we talked about Division 3 and St. Vincent St. Mary's a 15 seed, and obviously Notre Dame Cathedral Latin's right there as a 14. They can cause some havoc in D3, but I think D6 is just full of teams in that seed 6 to 13 that are just really good football teams that could really throw monkey wrenches into this whole playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be interesting too. And we might see, and that's going to be that interesting matchup. And I feel like everybody kind of wants to see it. Number 1 LeBray versus number 3 Springfield at some point in these playoffs. That's just power going up against power, skill against skill. And that would be, I think, a fun offensive match.
I think people want to see Springfield tested again, to be honest. That's like the running joke now. Well, okay, they're a head and shoulders above their conference. Dana brought it up on Monday. Can they kind of square up against very, very good LeBray? And I think that's going to be one of the statement games for whatever team wins that game.
Yeah, and we saw a Brookfield team keep that game against Springfield kind of close in week 2 of the season, and LeBray we know what they were able to do against Brookfield now, and it really makes you look at the Vikings, I think, differently, especially the way they've ended the season now. And they're number 1 seed for a reason, and they're ranked above the team over in Springfield that has been to the state championship the past 2 years. So, I mean, you look at their schedule, and with respect, LeBray's faced a good schedule, and they've come out on top of most of them. I think this is going to be an interesting Division 6 matchup.
So today we want to thank Ken Forsyth, the head coach of the Brookfield girls basketball team, for joining us earlier in the program. We also want to thank Walt DeShields and all his special guests that he got to bring on. Man, we were just like treated with here's Drew DeShields just hanging out, and here's Stephen Martin. Oh, and here's Penny DeShields, who just won 312 career volleyball matches as well. So that was a who's who of West Branch superstars in that interview. We thank them all for taking the time to say hi to us. Tomorrow, it's a jam-packed show because not only do we have Nick Cantorino from Campbell and Steve Miller from Western Reserve, we also will have a pre-recorded interview with Anthony Demma from Garrettsville Garfield and last week's winners of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. And we'll also have a conversation with Tim Walsh, who is one of the runners of Steel Valley Soccer, about the playoff picture and where soccer teams sit. We're going to have a great conversation with him debuting tomorrow as well. And on top of all that, we got Scotty in the studio, which is always fun.
Yeah, going to be an exciting day tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it. We kind of had that DeShields table round table discussion. Little bit, and we might be able to pull it off now, as we were able to see Penny, Walt, and Drew in the same one. So that'll definitely be something we could try to get accomplished this season. But basketball previews coming your way this year.
You know what excites me before we get off? Like Drew DeShields doing what he does in football, and they're going to have a successful playoff run, no matter how far they go. Then all of a sudden, we're going to see him on the basketball court, and they're back-to-back ABC champions, and he is a great basketball player. And we're going to have fun covering him throughout the winter, and then it's not done because he probably shines the brightest on the baseball field. So it's going to be a great rest of the sports season with him and the rest of West Branch Nation. We once again thank Walt DeShields for joining us, and tomorrow we'll be back from 12 to 2. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3, and then Power Hour will get you kicked off from 3 to 4. So until tomorrow, we'll see you later.